Alright, here we are again with the machine from hell, the Rubbermaid PH12. It's a dual motor upright, kind of made to compete with the Windsor or Sebo X series, except these had a dual motor system in them, although they did not have a brush roll shut off. So it was made to run except when the unit was put upright, in which a micro switch would disable the brush roll. It has some fundamental differences between it and a Sebo. The brush roll system is different. It almost seems like they reversed the way things connect together. Like a Sebo has a little shaft that comes off of the pulley system with a little bar that goes through it. Well, that piece is on the brush roll in here, so then it has the opposite end on there. So it's like they just kind of flip the ends around in order to, I'm guessing, get around patents or whatever. And the bag collar was different. I do not have an original bag for this, and I've actually zip tied a Kenmore U bag in here. I just couldn't find another option. But yeah, very blatantly a ripoff of the X series. It even has a similar filter in there. I mean, the bag setup was somewhat similar, but not quite the same. And then the hose is a little bit different too. This actually does not run all the way down into the wand. The hose ends right about here, and then the tools actually fit inside of the inside of like the end of the extension tube here. So that's a little bit different. And then of course, you know, we have a hose instead of a solid tube, and we have two front wheels instead of the single front wheel. And it would have had a squeegee, but that's worn away. And we have a little easy access door for access to that hose. And I forgot to mention this in the last video where I was talking about the internals and such, but the wheel axles were actually bent. So I don't know how they managed to do that. I mean, clearly it must not have been very good quality material. But I also noticed too, this does not have a quick release for the cord. Like on a Sebo, you can turn this in order to release the cord quickly. You can't do that with these. Nothing turns. Oh, never mind. The top piece does. I guess I should have looked a little bit closer. But I was just like, that's so stupid for a commercial machine to not have that. But it does, so no problem there. And clearly something happened here. But it's fine for now. I'll replace it in the future. But it does work for now, so let's go ahead and test the ambient. Here's our ambient voltage. We'll turn this on, get the wattages with both the motors. I'll just start it off with a single motor first. Turn the brush roll on. Alright, and we'll take a look at the airflow at the machine base. And I'll have to be careful not to re-crack this, because they broke that, so I'm not going to push this in here too tightly. But we'll take an airflow reading at the end of the wand. Down a little bit. Alright, so I would normally measure the airflow both with the brush roll on and the brush roll off, but because of the way this thing works, it's not, you know, you're not able to run it with the brush roll off if it's not standing upright, so there's no purpose in measuring it at the base, you know, with the brush roll off. So we're just going to do it brush roll on, and it's amazing how quickly this thing adjusts, you know, because it's just a simple wheel that adjusts the height. It's not a system of like gears like the Sebo, so it's just very fast to adjust, but probably not as reliable. So let's get on with it. Alright, for the sake of comparison, I'm going to post the specs of this next to the specs I got for the X4. I believe they're somewhat similar, but, you know, I'll have to... The specs I add in editing will tell, you know, whether or not that's true. And, you know, like I said, I do like that this has two wheels on the front. It definitely does glide over carpeting a little bit better than a Sebo does. But, you know, there's not much else to really like about it. Maybe, you know, maybe the fact that it has that hose going down the back. I feel like that might seal the head a little bit better. But other than those two things, I mean, the Sebo's a way better machine. You know, two circuit boards for the Sebo versus like 5 of them in here. And, you know, not having a control to shut that brush roll motor off, there's really no point to even having a dual motor system. I mean, I suppose because, you know, these don't lift themselves. Like when you put a Sebo X series upright, it'll automatically lift itself to the highest height, but this doesn't do that. It just shuts off the brush roll. So, I mean, in theory, you shouldn't have the, you know, brush spinning on a single spot with either of them, provided the Sebo can lift it up far enough. So that might be an advantage, you know, if you know, you had carpet that was high enough to make contact with the Sebo's brushes at full height. But other than that, you know, there's really nothing about this machine that makes it better. And I hope to never have to open this machine back up, because that is just a service nightmare.